Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is CJ. We back in the flesh again. Man, this is like the third video in a row I've been on camera. I'm trying to let you guys know I'm a real person. I'm not just some, crazy, strange guy with a phone or something, whatever the case may be. I'm just a normal guy, and I'm glad to be able to, talk to you guys face to face. Now, sometimes to do this means you got to do it late at night, and that's why the tank's off. Moonlights are on the AI blades for the Be Easy Reef. This is kind of how it looks at night. Kids asleep. So we got a moment to talk because I wanted to get a video out covering the brand new Neptune Trident MP. Now, right off the bat, I'll let you guys know this was a sponsored item. So I know a lot of people out, it's a hot topic as far as influencers and sponsored items in the hobby. So I want to make sure I put that out there. So this video, sponsored item, but what I say in this video is all CJ's opinions, guys. They're not making me say anything or not say anything. The goal for this is really to answer the questions that I wanted answered, when this was on the way. How does it work? How consistent is it? Is it easy to set up? How the reagents, all those kind of things. First user account answers is what I want to provide on this video for you guys. So anyone who is interested in the Trident MP, you watch this video and you're gonna know for sure, hey, this is what's going on. This is how it works. This is what doesn't work. This is what I may need to look for, whatever the case may be. I want to try to answer all those concerns in this video. And then after that, hey, do what you got to do, baby. So I will tell you right off the bat, you do have to have an Neptune Apex to use this. This does not stand alone. So I want to make sure I tell you that. And then everything else, we're going to cover it. So let's get to it. Stay tuned. And at the end, if you got questions, make sure you drop a comment and we'll get those answered as well. Let's get busy. All right, so the first question we're going to answer is what comes in the box if you order the Trident. As you guys can see, it's actually two separate boxes. First one on the left includes the Trident and all the hardware to connect it. And then the reagents are shipped separately in a separate box. So make sure you keep that in mind if you put the order in. They either include the reagent with your order or make sure it's included in the package when you get the Trident. And then as far as overall look, it's very similar to the first one, except it comes in a black color scheme, a different feel to it. Includes a drip tray as well. If there is some kind of weird leak that happens, it's going to catch it for you. Now the reagents, this is the interesting part. Difference between the first one and second Trident that I've noticed, there's more bottles. So this is 6 separate bottles, 3A and 3B, which we will combine later. Of course, it has your calibration fluid, and then it also has 3 bottles of reagents that are going to go inside the Trident. So this is going to be pretty much what comes with it. And of course, the waste neutralizer, which is also a new part of the game that was not included in the original Trident, but I'll show you that here a little later. And then as far as hardware, you got your 1-link cable, you got your waste line and your drain line from the tank. Then of course, you got your filter for the drain. So all of this is going to be everything we need to get the Trident all set up. And now you know exactly what to expect if you order one of these yourself. All right, I'll give you guys a quick run through on getting this all connected. Now, this is one part I'm glad that it didn't reinvent the wheel and kept things similar to the first Trident, because when it comes to connecting waste lines, drain lines, 1-link cables, if you already have one Trident, then it's very familiar, and you really don't have too much guesswork or question on where things go. That's pretty much the same way with this. Now, the new part is going to involve the reagents. Requiring you to wear gloves definitely was something that caught me off guard at first, but hey, they included the package. We're going to make sure we follow the instructions. And this is basically to protect any of your skin or eyes or whatever the case may be. You don't want any of this to splash on you. Definitely is not something you want on your skin. So you take 3A, 3B, dump it all in there and get it all mixed up, give it a good shake. Now I will tell you, after getting this all set up, I did find that these 3 reagent bottles are good for 64 tests. So that's a 2-month kit and 64 tests. So, that gives you like 2 or 3 extra tests to do manual runs if you choose to, beyond the default 1 test per day that the Trident's going to run. So I figured I would share that information that I found for you guys. Now the next thing is going to be the waste line or the waste water. This is a very important part because you can't just put it in any kind of jug. Luckily, I had a leftover, milk jug around the house that is the correct type of plastic. So make sure you keep that in mind. If you got an old milk jug, I would say grab it and keep it. So that way you can mix in the solution. You got to take a few times, stir it around. It is kind of a powder in the little jar here. You got to kind of get it all mixed up. You want to get all of this inside your milk jug, and then this is going to be where your wastewater goes from your trident. Now, if you guys are like me, I just had to take a peek inside because I was curious, what does it look like on the inside of this Trident MP? And upon further inspection, it looks very similar to the original Trident on the inside. And like I said before, I don't believe they reinvented the wheel too much because honestly, if it works, why do you have to change it? It's kind of like a brand new car coming out. Seems like every car that comes out still has four wheels, right? So I'm thinking that in the future, if I do have to do any kind of maintenance or any kind of troubleshooting or anything on this Trident, I'm glad that they kind of stuck to a similar method. So that way, when it comes to fixing stuff, there should be plenty of documented ways of getting it done. Now, when it comes to setting the rest of the Trident up, you have to make sure you allow 25 minutes for all the chemical reactions and the reagents to kind of be finished and activate them to make sure they're working. So for me, just kind of took my time and let it kind of settle around, and then we're going to continue with the install. Now, I just had to do this on the kitchen table. For one, it's easier to film, it's better lighting, and for two, I just want this all done, all put together before I take it and get it to its final, installed location. There's just one less thing to worry about. So just make sure that you are very mindful of the hoses coming out of these reagent cups. I believe the first one should go to the left and the second one should go to the right, per their instructions, I believe. But the more of the story, make sure you don't have anything crimped, anything, you know, cut off, or anything that's going to stop any flow of the reagent from getting to these bottles and to the Trident. So the last thing I want to mention is going to be these are pre-labeled, meaning they have a number label to match the bottle and a color code. So it's kind of hard to mess up the order you put these in, but they do have to go in the same order every time. So make sure you keep that in mind. So we got everything buttoned up. It's time to get it installed. So we're going to replace the Hannah Checkers location with the brand new Trident MP. I can't lie, I'm really digging the look of them side by side. As long as you have the space for them like this, I would say, hey, put them side by side like this. That way it's easy to see them when they're in action and when they're both running. Definitely, I like watching it. So it works out for me. Now, I will tell you this, for those that are curious, the time for getting the test done. I know that's a major question a lot of people are wondering. And for me, it looks like it's an average between an hour and 25 minutes to an hour and 30 minutes for it to complete the test. So it is a pretty lengthy test, but just think about it. It's automation, so I'm not really watching it. I'm just waiting on the results to get done. And that's pretty much what we do. All right, so after you got everything physically connected, time to jump into Fusion and get it all done. And I try not to bore you guys too much with this, but there are a few things worth highlighting, including needing to do a module update on the Trident when I first connected it. Now, this may not apply to you, but I would start off going to your modules just to make sure it doesn't need it. And then after that, going into your task, and then they do have a convenient setup here, step-by-step process, YouTube videos walking you through doing everything I showed you in my video at the beginning. After that, you select your waste container size so it doesn't overfill it, and then the time of day you want it to test, and then you kind of send it, and that's pretty much it, guys. I can't lie. I mean, it's a pretty easy install. Really wasn't too complicated. Now, everything else I'm showing you completely optional, but for the full sense of showing you everything I can, I am going to let you know that I did go through and kind of relabel my Tridents, of course, one for nutrients and the other just standard, alkalinity, calcium, magnesium. Figured it made the most sense. There is one thing I do want to share. They had a new update to Fusion. If you don't have it yet, go into Apple app download or Android, whatever phone you have, get the updated Fusion app because they got a nice looking dashboard now that shows everything. So I get to see the Trident MP, the normal Trident's details, pH, temperature, my liquid level sensors for my sump and for my saltwater mixing container, all a one-stop shop, easy, convenient to see on the screen. I think that's pretty dope. Now, this is definitely a big question I've noticed in the forums a lot. It's going to be how to calibrate the Trident MP. Unfortunately, they don't have the task and for the MP in Fusion yet. Hopefully they have that soon because, without it, you got to do some manual sticking and moving. Basically, priming the line yourself, then going to the Trident module and then going to calibrate and then repriming it. and then that will get you done. Takes about an hour to complete, but you can get it done yourself with those instructions. Next question, how accurate is the Trident? Well, keep in mind, both the Trident and Hana checkers have error ranges, but for me, I found it pretty damn close. I mean, the actual PL4 was right on the money, and the nitrates were off by 2 or 3, but with the error ranges considered, I'm fine with that to be able to trust the Trident going forward. And that's pretty much 2 of the questions I definitely wanted to answer for you all. And the next questions we're going to address is going to be the capabilities of the Trident MP. At least from what I've seen in Fusion, unless they come out with an update after this video, this is going to be accurate of this time. So keep that in mind. Now, one thing I want to show you is going to be how often you can run the Trident. Now, the default is set at noon, and after that, you can only change the time. You cannot change the frequency. So you can only run the Trident automatically 1 time a day. And if you want to test more than that, you have to kick off a manual test, which you can do as much as you want, but you just can't pre-program it to run automatically more than 1 time a day, like you can the original Trident. Now, another thing I want to show you, it has to do with tracking the parameters. Now, this is a pretty dope part. You are able to go in and see pretty much every single test that was ran by every Trident that you have on your system, and you can overlap them on the graphs. So I can combine the results from the Trident MP's, phosphate nitrate test, overlay them on top of the normal Trident's alkalinity, magnesium, and calcium test, and really track trends as far as maybe the nutrient level versus the consumption versus, the pH in the tank. Like, they have so much information available now between the Trident and all the probes with the Apex that you really can just dive as deep as you want to in the world of automation and the actual information you're getting. Definitely something pretty dope. Something else I'm doing is going to be taking advantage of leveraging the outputs of the Tridents for safety measures. As you guys can see, I got tons of alarms set in here to alert me if the nitrates or phosphates are bottoming out. Let me know. If they're getting too high, let me know. If the alkalinity is getting low, let me know. It's definitely going to alert me for any of those situations. And then as far as the nutrient export, I'm actually starting to play around with programming the outputs for the Trident to affect my skimmer, my algae scrubber. If there's any chance of the tank getting ready to bottom out, I want those things shut off and I want to know about it. So it's just another step that I'm going to plug in here to give myself a little more time, including the auto feeder. I didn't even realize I can do this for the auto feeder, but I'm going to play around with the code a little bit more. I have a feeling I can probably have it control how many times it feeds a day based off the Trident's testing. The possibilities are completely crazy once you get into the deep world of, the coding inside of Fusion, especially the advanced coding and the languages you can use. So for now, just added a quick one in. If there's any chance of the tank, bottoming out or being too high, then I want something to shut off and I want to know about it. So this is definitely fun for me. Like I said, this is definitely a part of the hobby that is beyond the reef tank itself. Definitely is a tech side of it, but I'm happy to share and enjoy some of the potential. All right, guys. So hopefully by this point of the video, you guys got a pretty solid idea of how the Trident MP works and, how to set it up and all that good stuff. But at this point, I'm really just looking forward to how it works over time, how consistent it's going to be on the Be Easy Reef. And we'll tell you guys, the normal Trident I've had on the system for about a year now, and at most I've calibrated it 1 time, and I only had to replace the reagents as they ran empty. Literally, haven't had any issues, errors, nothing at all. My experience with the normal Trident has been, absolutely perfect. No issues to even mention. And as far as the Trident MP, right out of the gate, last couple of weeks or so, it's been working consistently as well. I've also had to calibrate it 1 time, and I'm still on the normal, stock reagents. So as far as overall uses, for me personally, I'm just looking forward to using these as safety nets. If you follow the channel, I've got like 35 videos so far, guys, documenting the Be Easy Reef. Some of the issues I've had, alkalinity spikes that could be avoided, tracked, alarmed, or protected with safety measures with the normal Trident. I've had dynos from issues with nutrients bottoming out, with me either not testing consistently enough, meaning once a week for my nutrients, or the nutrients literally dropping during that week in between testing. and causing issues. So now with daily testing, I'm going to fully take advantage of the Trident NP, and we're going to let this thing help alert me to things from bottoming out, turning off nutrient export, auto feeder for the Neptune auto feeder. Like, I'm really going to use these and try to leverage every safety measure I can to help babysit the bees reef and protect it from, either a lack of discipline on my end or unforeseen things. So, do you have to have these to be successful in the hobby? Absolutely not. Years ago, I had the JBJ45. I had an Ocean Revive light on it. I had a cheap Skimmer Powerhead, no automation. That tank was awesome. It was super easy. This is just for me. This is my next level in the hobby of technology, trying it out, interested in it as far as programming, coding, all those kind of things. That's kind of the career I work in. I'm an IT guy. So I found this interesting. This is like the hobby outside of the hobby for me. So I'm enjoying it so far. And the main thing is I'm able to share it with you all. And not only just right now, 6 months from now, a year from now, we're going to update it and see how this is really going. I mean, has it really been consistent? Has there been any issues? So if there is a problem, we're going to document it. And right now, everything's going great, guys. So at this point, if you want more content or you are interested, the subscribe button, notification bell to subscribe to me on the YouTube channel. And as far as daily updates or more frequent updates, easier to reach me kind of situations, stop by my Instagram at CJ's Aquariums. Trust me, guys, bunch of content on there if you haven't followed me already. And we're gonna cover the tank both ways. So, man, what a time to be in the hobby. I got to tell you, this is exciting being able to play with all the newer technologies and all those things from Neptune. And we're going to continue, going with doing what we do. So as always, hey, you guys can like, comment, subscribe. You guys keep doing what y'all do. Y'all be easy and happy reefing. Peace.